you chat?
Always. Hello.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little tired. We went to KC this weekend. We got back last night, so I'm like, I feel like every vacation or like trip should come with a mandatory rest period.
Like a day.
Like you need a day to like reset.
Totally.
So I'm a little tired, but we had a lot of fun. How was your weekend?
You're in the mandatory rest period?
Oh, I wasn't allowed the mandatory rest period because the world is still turning.
But you're still...
But I'd like a mandatory rest period.
Sure.
But I'm pushing through. How are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Oh, we had my cousin's son's birthday party.
How was it? A children's birthday party.
A children's birthday party. It was fun. I realized that birthday parties have not changed one little bit. Like, you know how, like, the world is so different from when we were kids?
But birthday parties aren't?
No, they're still playing Pin the Tail on the Donkey.
Stop.
Yeah.
I didn't like that when I went to birthday parties.
Like, with the blindfold and you spin someone around.
Are you serious? Was it like a vintage-themed birthday party?
No. No, the theme was giraffes.
Oh, wow. Do the kids, like, go crazy for Pin the Tail on the Donkey?
I mean... They're, like, you know, lined up, waiting to be spun around with their blindfold. They put it on the wall.
Ugh, kids. I love them, but, like, guys...
You don't feel like that's fun?
It's not fun.
I mean, pinatas are still fun.
Pinatas are super fun.
Yeah. I'll take a pinata any day. You
a
whack
bat,
that thing.
you whack it, candy falls.
Yeah.
I always had a pinata at my birthday party. I loved them.
Yeah.
Should we just get a pinata for something?
Yeah.
Why haven't we had one in years?
I mean, I don't know what the occasion would be.
Just being alive.
And we're having a pinata, in case you were wondering. Come for dinner, there'll be a pinata.
Okay, good. That's fun.
So that was an interesting revelation that...
They haven't changed.
They haven't changed at all. Like, you'd think with all the technology,
yeah.
It'd be like, I don't know, lasers or something.
Maybe that's nice. Like, at least every kid wasn't sitting there, like, on a video game. They're interacting. They're active.
Yeah, no, they're playing, running around.
Love that.
It was, like, pouring all day Saturday, so you couldn't be outside, which is unfortunate.
That does suck.
But...
We had a good time, and then I played pickle for the first time on Saturday.
I don't think if you play pickle one time, you can call it pickle.
Well, that's what everyone calls it.
Pickleball.
Oh. Margie exclusively calls it pickle.
Margie plays every day.
But that's just where I hear it.
Okay.
Pickleball, but I sustained a horrible injury.
Oh my gosh.
Like, horrible.
Why do you think that with your history in figure skating, you cannot stand on 2 feet?
I've thought a lot about it. I think...
Like, you trip over a piece of lint on the ground.
I really don't know. I've thought a lot about it. But this was, like, an honest... I just dove, and, like, my shoes didn't have enough traction, and I drilled my knee into the ground. Like, everyone was like, oh... I was like, fuck.
Were you laying there like, I'm okay?
I hopped up.
Oh my god.
Because we were in the midst of, like, 4 public courts. Like, I couldn't draw any attention to myself. And Tyler came running over and he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. And I have this thing, it's a really bad quality about myself, but when I'm hurt, I'm annoyed with other people.
Like, this reminds me of the time.
I knew this is the story you were going to tell. But the minute I started that sentence, I regretted it.
This reminds me of the time you picked me up. We were on our way to dinner in the dead of winter.
Oh, this is a different story. I thought you were going to tell my nose. Oh, this is a good one, too.
Oh! This is a different one.
Yeah, there's too many injury stories.
There's so many. We're on our way to dinner in the dead of winter.
Okay.
And we're driving. And while we were driving to dinner, I look down at your shoes and I go, why are you wearing, like, open back flats?
It was a mule.
She's wearing, like, a summer mule.
It's a fall mule. It has a toe and it was leather.
No backing.
Okay, fine.
And it is literally 10 degrees and, like, extremely icy. And you're like, what do you mean it's a work shoe? And I was like, hey, you wear that, but then, like, put on a boot or something. Like, it's cold outside and your, like, heel is next to the ground. And you were like, these are my work shoes. And I was like, that's really dumb. And you were like, okay, well, this is what I wear to work.
Something to know, though, when you point those things out, I become more indignant.
Okay. Well, then we get out of the car. You were driving. You get out. And I get out of the passenger side. I'm walking around the car. You get out and instantly step onto a patch of ice. And you went down so quickly, like a flash, just like...
Now you see me, now you don't.
No, literally. And I look back and you're like, ow, 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 ow. Grape lady.
It hurts so bad.
You were laying, like your shoulder and your elbow specifically, like you're laying on the ice holding your arm. And I looked back at you and I was like, that's why you don't wear those fucking shoes. And I just left you on the ground
Which
and walked
is
inside.
so mean.
No, because you...
What if I had been seriously injured?
You were already on your way up.
Okay, you were sure.
You were like, oh my god, it's not the shoes, it's icy. I would have slept. I was like, come on. This is so dumb.
This is now a podcast just exclusively dedicated to my injuries.
I just like, and then I was like, now do you regret wearing those shoes? And you were like, no, it's not the shoes. I was like, it is the shoes. You don't have the shoes barely even on your foot.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I am indignant. Like, that is just something about me. Like, I am stubborn. And so when you come at me immediately following, I have nothing to give but annoyance.
I remember so clearly walking away from you. You were laying in the parking lot. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I thought I was on my way up.
You were. But, like, you were on your knees.
You were laying.
No, you were on your knees, like, holding your elbow, like, ow, ow, ow.
It did fucking hurt. So, this storied history of injuries. And, like, honestly, Tyler's, like, still shocked when I get hurt all the time that I'm shocked. Like, he's like, what are you surprised about? You cannot stand on your 2 feet. But every time, I'm surprised by a new injury. So he comes running over and he's like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. And he's like, okay, do you want to keep playing? And I'm like, yes, obviously. Mind you, my knee is like throbbing.
Why can't you just be like, someone sub in for me? I'm going to go look at this shattered kneecap.
I can't concede.
You will not quit.
I will not quit. Like,
yeah, you limping into the restaurant with your mules.
Like, I cannot. That is
stupid.
Like, and I also don't want to be bad at things. I hate trying new things. And Tyler's like, let's just go sit down. I'm like, I am fine. Like, leave me alone. He's like, okay. So I kept playing, but then after when I showed him, he was like, oh my fucking God. So we iced it, whatever. I have a massive bruise on my dear sweet knee. But it'll heal. I want to be less clumsy. My goal is to be less clumsy in this
good
next half of the year.
Just for the next half. I thought you meant the next part of your life.
Like, indefinitely, but like that is a goal I'm focusing on.
Specifically the rest of 2024.
Tyler feels like it's that I don't have a great awareness about where my body is.
Where is your body in your mind?
Like, he's like, you're never really paying attention to like where you are.
But where do you think you are?
I don't know.
We're here.
I don't know. But like very early on when Tyler and I started dating, it was post nose injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember telling him the story, and he was like, you just have to pay attention to, like, where you're walking. And I was like, yeah, obviously. And then, like, literally, not even an hour later, I walked into a wall. I remember this distinctly, and him being like, the nose story makes sense. And I was like, was that wall there, though, when I got up? And he was like, in my apartment? Yes. Like, I'm never really paying attention.
What are you looking at?
I don't know. It's concerning.
Yeah, you need help.
Yeah, anyways. But we had a great weekend in KC. We visited my brother-in-law. We had good food. We did the barbecue thing. We did a ramen place. All in all, 10 out of 10.
Love it.
Love it. Oh, except we stayed at my brother and sister-in-law's. Oh, she's not my sister-in-law yet. My brother-in-law and his girlfriend's apartment. Rachel. We walk into the apartment. Guess the temperature.
Wow, it was probably warm in KC this weekend, right? Like
humid.
80s? Yeah. I'm gonna say their apartment was like 72.
76.
Oof. Was the AC on?
It was on, but they were like, oh, we like it warmer. And I was like, I don't want to be a complaining guest. But thankfully, like, they know me, and it became very clear that I was hot. I literally had to go lay down for like 10 minutes, just like reset next to a fan.
Was that hot?
It was just so humid. And Gwen was like, oh, I like it like humid. Like, I prefer the humidity. And I was like, that is so interesting. Like, we are complete foils. Like, I avoid humidity.
We're complete foils? What's that?
Opposites.
Foils?
Yeah. It's a synonym for Foil. I mean, synonym for opposite.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Fascinating.
Bet my life on it.
Okay, sounds like a British term.
But anyways, that was the only thing about the weekend is I was really hot the entire time.
That
and they did
is
their
the
best.
downside of staying with someone is like, obviously you don't want to like impose upon their space. Like
Totally.
if you can stay in a hotel, I usually prefer to. Yes.
I love staying in hotels, but I had a lot of fun being there. Like, it was fun, all of us being together and, like, waking up together, and they made breakfast, and, like, my brother-in-law is an excellent latte maker, so he was on the espresso machines, the 1s and 2s, a lot of fun. The only thing, and then I felt like an asshole, because it's, like, their house.
Yeah, I mean, what are you supposed to do? Like, I'll kick in the extra for your energy bill?
Like, they were very sweet about it, like, kicked the AC up and, like, had a fan going in our room, but I was like, I run hot. Gwen apparently, she said she was cold sleeping at night. Then I felt bad.
Aye.
But even when she said she
So
was...
then night 2, did they turn it?
No.
Oh.
She was cold for 2 nights.
You didn't say, don't worry about it, you can turn it back up?
I didn't say anything. I just said, oh my goodness, that's terrible.
What?
What was I supposed to say?
Use your fan.
The fan was on.
She was cold in her own home?
Well, she said she liked using her Ugg blanket.
My God, she's sleeping under a sheepskin.
I know. But the crazy thing is I was still hot.
It was that hot in there.
I don't know if it was a mental thing, like I just decided I was hot.
I feel like with sleeping, it's really important to be cold. Like, you are supposed to sleep in a cold environment.
Haley, my sister-in-law, also was like, oh, I was cold, but I liked it. She was like, I sleep better cold. So then I did feel like, oh, it's like we're doing some sort of voting system here.
Who wants to wake up, like, warm?
I can't.
Although, like, when I wake up in the morning, my house is so cold, like, I can't get out of bed because, like...
Yeah, it's difficult because it's so cozy.
It's just, like, out there, it's really cold.
Yeah. So, that's the 411.
What a hoot.
What a hoot. I did see all the newspapers in the airport, though, when we left on Friday with Trump's conviction.
So here's what I feel about that.
What do you feel?
I don't actually know if it matters.
I don't think it does.
Like, perhaps this entire thing was a waste. You know, as I do, I watched CNN and Fox News.
To get both sides.
I like to hear...
They're foils.
Yeah, I want to hear from all the foils. And, they were saying on Fox that, like, this judge is biased. They should have, called it a mistrial from the beginning because the judge doesn't like Trump. I guess the judge's wife, like, made a donation to the Biden campaign in 2020. If that means anything.
Okay.
Ruled it a mistrial. There were a couple times where, like, they said, you know, it should have been a mistrial because this, that, or the other thing, and the judge said no. This whole thing is a...
farce.
Yes, and just, like, a joke of our justice system that, you know, they'll do anything to...
get a man when he's down.
Yes. And then, you know, of course, on the other side, like, CNN and the ladies on The View were like,
woo!
Yeah. Is Trump a major creep? Hundo P.
All day.
Does this matter in terms of the election? No.
Well, the reason I don't think it matters is...
And also, like, do people on the other side... Do, like, more conservative people also believe he's a creep? Like, can't we all agree? He's a creep.
Well, it's one of those things that, one, there's nothing that precludes him from being in the election once he's a convicted felon, which is insane, but okay, sure.
True.
Like, we have an age requirement, but not a free of convictions requirement.
Very odd.
Seems odd. But if you believe in him so blindly, you're only going to believe that this was a trumped up, pun intended, charge.
Right.
So, like, it's not like this conviction, like, convinces people. There are people who are like, oh, wow, he keeps being persecuted. And then there's other people who are like, told ya!
They're saying that, you know, is he going to get jail time? jail time for this type of I guess you could call it a white collar crime is not common, especially for someone of this age.
It doesn't matter.
But obviously, if he had jail time, then, like, it would be tough for him to be president,
But again, there's nothing I don't think... I heard someone say there's nothing saying you can't be in jail and be president.
That is true, and also, the only thing that might make it difficult is that he's banned from, like, I think 37 countries now that he's a convicted felon, like, including, like, Canada and the UK.
Interesting. Tyler and I were doing really funny bits about him making collect calls to other dignitaries. Like, you have a collect call from an inmate at Rikers Island. Do you accept these charges?
Oh, he's on Rikers?
Yeah, we put him on Rikers.
Okay, good.
And then Tyler would be Putin and he'd be like, no.
That was his Putin impression? Yeah. No.
That was me impersonating Tyler, impersonating Putin.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, we have a collect call from, and it was like, this gave us an hour of mileage at the airport.
Netanyahu. No. What's everything? No. So yeah, I mean, I was like, wow, okay, like, small
victory.
Is it just a giant waste of everyone's time? I worry, yes.
I fear that there's nothing that could sway Trump supporters at this point.
You know what is a little piece of good news, though?
What?
I've heard from a few different articles that I've read that you know how there's, like, normal Republicans who are just, like...
fiscally conservative.
Yeah, fiscally conservative and also, like...
socially less liberal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are most of those are Trump supporters. And then there are other Republicans who are, like, KKK members.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking? Like, the extreme...
What's the good news?
Listen to me.
Okay.
The extreme, like, white supremacists.
Uh-huh.
Are they called, like, nationalists?
Yes, I believe you're right.
So those people are also Trump supporters. But the good news, if you can see it that way, is that those people are very upset with Trump for supporting Israel because he's very pro-Israel and they're very anti-Semitic. And so just a small ray of light is that his, like, supportership is breaking up a little bit. Like, they're not as much of a united front because they're very much... I don't know why they would be pro-Hamas because they only like white Christians, but...
yeah, that is interesting.
They definitely don't like Israel.
And I will say, I saw a thing on TikTok the other day, which is what I thought the good news...
which is where we get all of our...
which is where I get all of my breaking
legitimate news.
But no, it was a girl interviewing her. It was, like, actually really funny. It was a girl interviewing her Republican family. Like, they must have been together for, like, a barbecue. Oh, I think they were together for Memorial Day. And so she was going around conducting interviews with, like, a tiny little mic. And she was, like, interviewing her Republican family members. And it wasn't a slam dunk Trump because some of them were like, it's just not looking good. Like, yeah, I draw the line at him being on trial. So some of those Republicans who are fiscally conservative and have common sense are also feeling a little swayed.
How about the Republicans that you personally know?
The Republicans that I personally know, it's dwindled in numbers, so I don't have as big of a base. But the Republicans that I personally know, I think, are not pro-Trump, but they're also not pro-Biden. The gun would go off people. Have you seen that one?
No.
They're like, gun to your head. You have to... there's again, TikTok. It's like,
oh my goodness.
You have to vote for Trump or Biden, gun to your head, and the guy goes, the gun would go off.
Yeah. Again, it's hard to decide who...
Again, we need to repost the job.
Yes.
I'll say it over and over again. Anywhere else in the world, if you post a job and the only two candidates you got were Trump and Joe Biden, you would repost the fucking job.
Yeah, because perhaps this job posting was accidentally posted on our time.
It needs to be on our time. It needs to be re-updated.
Like Indeed... 65plus.com and they're like, oh, whoopsie.
The recruiter would need to have some explaining to do. Like, we wouldn't hire either candidate.
But the way that our system works, I mean, it's tragic.
Yeah. there's some things that need to be updated. Not children's birthday parties, but...
Like, do you want to vote for this really shady, untamed orange man, or this, like, senile, scary 209-year-old?
He's a cutie.
But he's, like, something's off up there.
Something isn't well. I agree.
It's like Weekend at Bernie's. Like,
yeah.
It's like they've, like, you know, stuffed him up with enough, like, I don't know if it's cocaine or what.
I don't think it's cocaine,
like, something to get his energy levels up enough to shuffle out to the podium.
Oh my God.
And say just a couple of words, and they're like...
Can we get, like, I feel like Brock...
You know, it's like another hit.
I feel like Brock just needs to give him, like, a solid pep talk. I feel like their friendship has the strength to, like, bring him back from his senility.
We do? That's how you feel?
I feel like their friendship's so cute. You see all those memes of them hanging out.
But, like, what's crazy is Biden, I hope, is wearing, like, an earpiece as well as reading off a teleprompter. And he just has to say, well, let's try it right now. He just has to say exactly what's in his earpiece.
Okay.
So I'm in his earpiece and you're Biden.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We're here today. Because we want to discuss what's going on in Israel. How hard is that?
Super easy. He can't do it.
He can't do that.
He can't do it.
He's like, we want to discuss what's going on. Oh.
It's like he's like rebooting.
Yeah, and you're like, can you imagine being the person in his earpiece like, just say it, Joe. What's going on in Israel? Joe? Israel.
He's like, Joe? He keeps saying Joe.
And that, yeah, to the point then when Biden is on the podium, Joe.
Stop. Like, if he was someone's grandpa and you met him at, like, their graduation...
He is someone's grandpa, and he's so sweet. It's just, like, it's infuriating that these are our options. We needed Joe in 2020 because we needed someone, like, middle of the road enough...
Yeah.
...to just, like, hopefully get things back on track. Things are not necessarily back on track, and we're also back where we were 4 years ago.
It's Groundhog Day. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's spooky. It's really spooky. I don't disagree with you. Did you see that Shiloh Jolie Pitt is getting rid of Pitt on her last name? This article, it's so crazy because I feel like Brad and Angelina were together. They had that huge scandal. They're together. They're not married for a million years, and they're having kids and, like, living in France and seemingly great. They get married, and within 2 years of the marriage, the whole thing, like, the whole ship tips over.
Yes. And there was that weird story, though, about, like, him on the plane.
Domestic violence. He's, like, estranged from all of his kids. The kids that she had prior that he adopted have, I think Zahara is one of them. She dropped the name Pitt. Shiloh allegedly paid for her own attorney. She just turned 18. She paid for her own attorney to do all this name change paperwork. And as someone who recently changed their name, I gotta tell you, Shiloh,
it's no easy feat.
It's no easy feat. Maybe just stop going by Pitt, but keep it legally, because as someone who's at the Social Security office this morning, it's not as easy.
Why are you still changing your name? I mean, we are months and months away.
Because they make it incredibly difficult. Again, I was kind of between a rock and a hard place because my mom gave me 400 names at birth. I had a 2-part first name, as you know, a middle name, and a 2-part last name. Too many names. 5 individual words made up my name. Mm-hmm. I never had a credit card or anything that had my actual name on it because it ran out of fucking characters. So when we got married, I saw this as an opportunity to just, like, make my life easier.
Simplify it all.
I never used the Marie. My name was John Marie. I never used the Marie. Adios. I made my maiden name my middle name. Great. And then my married name.
So now you only have 4 names?
3 names. Because, well, technically my last name was 2 parts. But
so we've gone from 5 to 4 words.
Yes. But I gotta tell you, it was a game changer because my mom put a fucking hyphen in my first name.
Yeah, that's tough.
Which most agencies call a special character and don't use. So, whatever. My mom makes it seem like I just, like, was trying to have a vendetta against her to change my name. That wasn't it. I need to make my life easier. Well, none of these agencies talk to one another.
Correct.
Which is crazy. Like, I don't understand. Like, I get notifications from, like, Facebook more regularly than these agencies are able to, like, notify one another that like, there should be one place, like the Ministry of Names. I should be able to go to the Ministry of Names, update my name, and they call Social Security, the passport office, the DMV, like, elect me to be president. Shit. Like, this seems really slam dunk. Okay, it's not.
This sounds like something everyone can get behind.
Like, this is my platform, a Ministry of Names. Well, I've individually had to do each of them. And
yeah, you have to do the passport, you have to do Social Security, you have to do your license.
You have to do them all individually, and, like, certain ones I needed certain forms of ID for.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to do my Social Security card, I needed my marriage license. Long story short, got my Social Security card figured out today. Great. It's a tiered approach. Now I can go get my real ID and my passport updated.
Do you need a real ID?
By 2027, you will. I mean, by 2025, May of 2025. Mm-hmm. Or you have to travel with your passport, and I just don't want to bring my passport on domestic trips. Yeah, like, it feels like I lost a Kindle this weekend. I don't need one more thing to lose.
Totally.
So anyways.
What's the story?
It was about this guy yelling at this girl, plugging in her phone. Like, the Social Security office does not want to enter 2020, whatever year this is, 2024. Oh. Like, this girl had her AirPods in. He was like, you need to take your AirPods out. She takes out her AirPods. She goes to plug in her charger on the wall. He goes, you can't use that. She's like, the charger? He's like, the outlet.
You can't use their outlet?
You can't use their outlets. So she's like, well, my phone's going to die. He's like, okay.
Don't care.
He's like a 6-year-old security guard. He doesn't give a shit. So she goes to sit down. Then her phone starts to ring. He literally doesn't even speak. He just pounds on the wall where it says, like, phone's supposed to be on silent. He's like, and she got up and left. I don't know if she had an appointment or what, but she just, like, scurried out of the Social Security office.
I have to tell you, though, that's kind of one of my pet peeves.
Talking on the phone there?
No. I mean, when people are talking on the phone, like, loudly in public. Like, I get if you're on your AirPods mm-hmm. and you're just kind of whispering, but, like, when people, and it's mostly the younger gen, mm-hmm. show up places with their phone and their charger, and then they have to plug in, like, they're weird. In their own bedroom at the Social Security office.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your charger?
She came in with it, like, she was Gen Z. Like, she came in with it, like, it was already plugged into the phone. It just needed an outlet.
Yes. Like, these kids walk around with their phone yeah. with the cord swinging away, and then they come in and they're like, I'm just going to plug it over here. Like,
electricity ain't free, bitch.
Yeah, what are you talking about? You can't just charge your phone wherever you are.
I mean,
or, like, you'll see that at the airport. Someone has a 109-foot charger.
Well, they do have all those charging stations.
They don't use them, though. They plug into, like, a wall so that they can still sit at the seats yeah. at the gate at the airport. And then there's a cord draped across the entire airport.
Yeah, true.
I don't know if that makes me sound like I'm 100, but it's so annoying. I hate how they travel around with their phones and the cords with it.
I'm usually annoyed by that sort of thing, but I was actually annoyed by the security guard today.
And they think that it's, like,
their God-given right.
Yes, but they think it's, like, dumb to carry around those little portable charging pods. Like, yeah. You have a little battery pack that plugs in so you can just, like, keep your phone together with the charger. That's called considerate. That's actually called nice and considerate.
Polite.
So that I don't have to be like, oh, can I move this really old antique table off the wall so that I can plug in over here and still sit on your couch? No, you cannot.
It's actually really true, but I was more annoyed with the security guard today.
Oh, not me. Like, the security guard was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I just feel like he was on a power trip. Like, I came in, and I'm just holding my phone. He goes, okay, you're going to need to stop and put your phone on silent. I go, it's always on silent. He's like, okay, well, I'm just letting you know. Okay.
Okay, well, that's really fucking
Then
dumb.
She comes in. She's just wearing her AirPods. She hadn't even, like, talked or anything. He's like, no.
How do you feel, speaking of cell phone use, how do you feel about the people who are on their phone texting when the movie's starting?
I don't care.
Oh my God.
It doesn't impact my viewing.
Yes, it does. There's a bright light in the middle of my view.
screen is 100 by 100.
No,
The
I want to
tiny
light
little
that person on fire.
iPhone screen. That does not impact me at all. And I'm actually annoyed when people call out the person on their phone.
I'm not going to call you out, but I'm just going to sit there and be like, dumb bitch.
Does it really impact your viewing, though?
Yes, it does. I see
Yes,
a
it
bright
does.
light. It takes me out of the
Yes, it
movie
does.
experience.
I'm trying to watch a movie set in the 1930s.
You obviously don't appreciate art.
I love art. Arguably, I very much appreciate art.
Well, I can't even think about art when there's this bright phone in the middle. It's like the darkest room in the world and you've got your phone on. And I get it. You have to send a text in the middle. Maybe your babysitter's like,
yes.
Hey, you left blah, blah, blah out, but they don't want that for dinner. What else should I give them? That's fine. All you have to do is use your purse or your husband's shirt or anything to hide the cover of your screen and text underneath that. That, again, is what we call considerate.
I hear you.
Just be a considerate member of society.
But
it's not
I can
that
send a
hard.
quick text and then just flip my phone over.
But if you're doing that over and over again, it's actually worse because then it's like a strobe light. Your strobe light cell phone just lighting up
then
every 3 seconds.
Considerate of people with epilepsy.
Or people who want to watch
eyes.
a movie in peace. Or people who are there to watch a movie and not randomly see your phone screen flash.
Okay. That's a lesson on politeness.
So if anyone out there has never thought about this before, yes, I have a lot.
You have a lot.
I'm willing to share them as we go on.
Thank God.
It's just like rude.
Forget Emily Post. Emily Post too.
Yeah. Oh, and here's something for your consideration.
What is it?
So obviously no one loves a fast food chain more than you.
I love fast food.
Like, you would rather get fast food than, like, something high quality a lot of times.
For sure.
Which is insane.
For sure.
Like, $39 fresh poke bowl or Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Insane.
But I love poke bowls.
I know. I was trying to pick something that was, like, really high on my list.
I need to be in the vibe for a poke bowl. But yes, go on.
So fast food chains everywhere have been shuttering their doors.
Closing?
I don't know if you know. Yeah.
Like who?
Like a lot. Old Country Buffet closing all remaining.
That place needed to go.
That's the one place I liked.
No. Cesspool.
Cesspool?
Buffets are gross.
You
love a buffet.
The perfectly squared desserts in the bowls.
Yeah, I know.
They're like squared carrot cake. Like, what are they cutting that with? Such precision.
The buffets are a little gross.
You don't like buffets?
I like them in theory, but then I get to them and I'm like, how long has this been sitting here? Did someone sneeze on it?
Did someone sneeze on your food in the kitchen at a restaurant?
Possibly, but it's not as likely. Okay,
Oh
sorry. So Old Country Buffet.
IHOP, 100 locations.
Didn't care about that one either.
Buffalo Wild Wings, all locations in Canada and 60 in the U.S.
I love B-dubs.
I'm
Do we
kinda
still
off.
have one here?
I think it closed.
Kind
of off B-dubs.
You loved it for a while.
I did, but
What
then
happened?
it got like weird and not fresh tasting.
Oh, really? I love B-dubs. Okay.
Not that I'm expecting like, the freshest chicken, but it just like got to a point where all the sauces started to taste the same, and it was like, I got the Parmesan garlic. This is teriyaki.
Tyler just introduced me to that show with Gordon Ramsay. What's it called?
Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh my God. Speaking of fresh, we watched an episode last night. This woman was exclusively
Did you watch the episode with the two brothers at the diner in LA?
No, is it good?
Oh, okay.
We'll watch it. This woman owned a restaurant called Manja Manja, and that was the last thing I wanted to do in her restaurant. She exclusively purchased food that needed to be made in a microwave. She reheated all of her food, like every single food. It made me think of you because you used to love microwaving those chicken cordon bleus. Like she would literally...
Who doesn't love a chicken Kiev?
Whatever. So she would literally like reheat everything. Gordon Ramsay goes into the like area of like the dining room, and he's like, what percentage of your food today do you think was fresh? And people were like 90 to 100, or what would you expect it to be fresh? Like 90 to 100, 90 to 100. And he's like, well, I regret to inform you that not even 5% of the food you consumed today was fresh. And it made me think of you, like, you going into the back of the B-dubs, being like, not even 5% of the food I consumed here today was fresh.
100% it's not.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Applebee's, 35 locations.
Oh, that one hurts.
Red Lobster, 50 locations after they declare bankruptcy. Denny's, 20 locations.
I do want to correct this. This isn't fast food. This is fast casual, which is also a place that I love.
Okay, Same thing.
No, fast casual is amazing.
Pizza Hut, I didn't realize those were still open. 500 locations. Outback Steakhouse, 41 locations.
All these can go.
What?
Yeah.
Bonefish, 7 locations.
You love Bonefish.
Who doesn't love Bonefish?
Wait, that is so weird. Bonefish is not a fast casual. I feel like it's like just casual.
I agree. I think it's part of the like Outback Steakhouse restaurant group though.
Interesting.
And so while that's happening, pivot off of that, the fast food price inflation
It's going up.
Is insane. McDonald's has doubled the price of the items on their menu since 2014.
Doubled?
Doubled, yes. It's gone up 100%. Popeyes, 86% in the last 10 years. Chipotle, 75%. What made me think of this was that I picked up dinner for my son and Mike on one night last week from your favorite restaurant, Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
And guess how much it was for the two of them?
$31.
30. From a fast food restaurant.
That's crazy. And he's a baby. Like, how much does he eat?
Well, I got him the little, like, what are they?
Checkers?
Nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah, those. And a side of fries. And he probably ate, a quarter of it, but, like...
That's crazy.
$30 for
It's
two
crazy.
fast food meals? What happened to, like, the $1 burger? That's what I said to Mike. I was like, I thought things were like $1.
No, fast food restaurants are crazy expensive. It's actually insane to think about, though. I don't get fast food that much because of how much it kills you, but I would love to get Chick-fil-A now that we're talking about it.
So yeah, just like, I was really fascinated. The price of a McDonald's Diet Coke has gone up.
It is a lot, but it's still worth it.
It's absolutely worth it, but like, if I'm gonna spend $30 on dinner...
Go somewhere nice. Like, nicer.
Yeah, like, I feel like I could do, like, Chipotle.
But I feel like Chipotle's gone up, too.
It has, but at least it's, like, fresh. I mean, this is, like, frozen chicken.
Chipotle did give me food poisoning multiple times, so... Let's not get too crazy with the praise.
A fun fact that I learned in chemistry in high school that has always stuck with me is that the number one rate of food incidences in fast food restaurants comes from none other than Wendy's. And the reason is because they say always fresh, never frozen. And when they, like, a restaurant or anywhere freezes something, obviously it, like, freezes it when it's freshest.
Yeah.
And then they just, like, defrost it so it's still fresh. And if they're not using fresh products, if they're not using frozen products, then they're using things that haven't been frozen, which they're trying to extend the life on.
That makes you not feel great.
Just an interesting little tidbit.
That is a tidbit. Not a good one.
And I really did want to talk about Summer House.
Yeah, you have to tell me because it's so crazy I don't watch it. I feel like it's such a loser these days.
Okay, I'm not going to get into it because we can't discuss. But basically, two of the main characters who've been on since the beginning, not characters, people.
I feel like characters, but yeah.
Lindsay and Carl have, like, this long storied history. They were, like, best friends in the house for a number of years. Then eventually they started dating. They were dating for, like, 10 months before they got engaged. But they were like, we've been best friends for so long, it feels like we've, like, known each other forever. So maybe it's a quick engagement, but whatever. All of their friends were like, whoa, like...
Slow it down.
This feels extreme. But they were like, why? We know each other, whatever. They got engaged really quickly. It fell apart almost as quickly as it began.
Came together. Did they seem, like, good together for those 10 months? Like, did people like them, the fans?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
They were, like, obsessed with each other, and everyone was like, ugh. Like,
Enough.
Courtney and Travis.
Got it.
And they were, like, in couples therapy, like, yeah, crazy.
That is crazy.
They were supposed to get married this past November, but a year ago in the summer, they broke up. All this news came out, like, that the cameras had already stopped filming. They'd done the finale already, but Carl reached out to producers to be like, I'm going to break up with Lindsay if you guys want to film it. So, like, he showed up at their apartment with a camera crew.
That's so gross.
And she was like, thought they were just, like, having a discussion about their relationship when he ended things. It was tough. I used to really like Carl. Now I think he is disgusting.
Cool.
Not that I'm a huge fan of Lindsay either. Like, I think they both did things wrong in this, but Carl specifically. So anyway, this story kind of made me want to go into a daily dilemma.
Okay.
Because Carl, like, this whole season has been saying to Lindsay, like, you are so hard on me. And he is sober.
Oh.
He's been sober for the past couple years.
But didn't start the show that way.
Did not start the show that way, no. So she, like, was sober with him for the first, like, I don't know, 6 months that they were together. Just, like, to try and support him. Very sweet, whatever. And he's had, like, a number of jobs over the years of being on the show. Most recently, he worked for another member of the cast's company, Loverboy, which is a, like, iced tea cocktail brand.
Okay.
So Carl and Kyle, that's who owns the company, really good friends, and Carl worked for them doing, like, marketing, promo, events, etc. And he left Loverboy last season because it was like, you know, it doesn't really fit with my sobriety journey, etc. And also they were, like, not really getting along. So this past season has been like Carl has not really had a job for, like, since he's left Loverboy. And Lindsay, who is, like, a very, like, intense personality, like, high achieving. When we met her, she, like, season 1, she was working for a big PR firm and left to start her own PR agency called Hub House because her name's Lindsay Hubbard.
Got it.
So she ran Hub House for a number of seasons. I think she sold it to someone else. Now she does, like, buying, like, Airbnb. She's buying properties in different cities and making them, like, Airbnb specifically for, like, bachelorette parties.
Oh, cool.
Like, decorating them with, like, cool neon signs, like, places people would want to stay. Still doing PR. She's, like, has to stay busy all the time. So, of course, she's thinking about Carl, like, what are you doing to make money? And he's, like, because they can't really say, like, I don't know why reality TV frowns upon this, but because they can't really say, like, well, I'm getting paid for, like, my Instagram ads.
Like, I'm being a reality star.
Yes, yeah. Like, that's my job. And Lindsay's like, same, it's not enough. Like, that maybe pays, like, $50,000 a year, and we have other expenses. So this whole season, Lindsay has been on his ass to, like, figure out what he wants to do. And his ideas are all extremely dumb. Like, he's like, well, I was thinking about opening a non-alcoholic sports bar. Yeah, the face you just made.
Like, just go to a sports bar and don't drink.
No, exactly. Like, and she was like, so he's like, you can see in his interviews in one of the episodes, like, he's like, this idea actually really speaks to me because, like, blah, blah, every idea speaks to this guy.
Okay.
And he's like, because, you know, there aren't a lot of places where you can gather and alcohol is not even a part of the equation, etc. So, like, he's at a non-alcoholic bar, like, specifically just a bar, and Lindsay meets him there, and he's like, so this is my idea. And before he can get out, like, the second half of the idea, she goes, no. She's like, we're gonna have to say no to that one. Like, that is not a good idea. So she's like, she's definitely harsh.
Okay.
And he's like, why? Why do you think that? Whatever. Then he's like, well, I did go to school for theater, so what about acting? Like, this is a different episode, different day, months later, weeks later, whatever. And she's like, acting is your next idea? Like, no.
Oh my God.
No, okay. Like, but, like, your idea is acting.
Okay. If you went to school for theater, I mean, I don't know.
No, but she's saying, like, because she's older, she's like 38
she
or something.
Have kids and,
she's like, we're gonna have kids, my career's gonna slow down, and I need yours to pick up like, begin.
We can't both be slowing.
And if your idea is acting, we're not in the right frame of mind.
Okay, I understand.
And this is what she's saying in her interviews. And usually, again, I think Lindsay is like, nothing's ever her fault, and she's really intense. But in this scenario, like, what are you doing, Carl?
Okay.
So then he's like, well, what about motivational speaking? I'm really good at that and going around talking about, like, my sobriety and, like, how to maintain being sober in certain environments. And Lindsay was like, I want you to do all of these things. Like, I want you to have a non-alc sports bar and a whatever. But unfortunately, these all seem like side projects and we need to have, like, a full-time job.
We're looking for an entree, not the side.
he's saying the whole time, like, you're so hard on me, you're not supportive, and every time he brings her an idea, she puts the kibosh on it. And she's like, every time you bring me an idea, it's a bad one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but, like, these are all really bad ideas. And so, in one of their final arguments, he says to her, I need you to be a little softer with me. Like, you're...
Too intense.
Too intense. And this, like, really triggers her. Like, she's like, this is my personality. Like, I am this way.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets really upset, and he's then, like, mad. Like, he's like, you would have thought that I asked her to, like, remove a toe. Like, I need you to only have 4 toes. Like, this isn't what he said, but he's like...
This is such a crazy reaction. He's
like,
saying.
Yes, this is such an over-the-top reaction. I'm telling you that I just want you to be softer with me, and, like, when I bring you an idea... And she's saying, like, when I question these ideas, because it gets to a point...
It's for your own good
yes,
sort of thing, yeah.
When it gets to a point in the season where he's going to go back and work for Loverboy, and because they're coming out with a non-alcoholic cocktail.
Oh, that's a great synergy. That's
exactly.
Perfect.
So he's coming back and saying this, and she's asking a lot of questions, like... like, the first thing, instead of her being like, that's so great that you talked to Kyle, like, she's like... So are you investing in that product specifically? Do you get a percentage of every sale of every can?
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, oh, well, I don't know. And she's like, then what the fuck is this? Like, these are all hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, how are we going to make money?
Okay.
And so he's saying, like, she's like, me asking you those questions, like, that sounds great. What's the plan with this? What's the plan with this? He's like, I don't know all that. I just want you to, like, celebrate me in the moment. And she's like, I'm not sure what I'm celebrating.
I can't celebrate what I'm not understanding.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, I need you to be softer with me. And she says later in her confessional, like, that is literally, like, me saying to him, like, be a man.
Okay.
Okay, so my daily dilemma is, thanks to Lindsay and Carl, is it...
the demise of their relationship.
Yeah, thanks and not thanks. Is it fair for a man to say to his partner, who's a woman, be softer, be more gentle? In the same sense, is it fair then for a woman to say that back to a man?
Yes, I do think it's fair, but I think only in the confines of your partnership and your relationship. Like, if I am at work, which I know it's not what you asked, but if someone at work told me to be softer, I'd be like, get fucked. Like, when a woman is direct and intense in a work environment, it's perceived as bitchy or shrill. And when a man does the same things, it's authoritative and, like, boss-like. So that would piss me off. But I think in the confines of your romantic partnership and your, like, engagement and your marriage, like, if Tyler felt like I was being too intense about something, I would want him to have the space and the comfort to say to me, maybe not be softer, but, like, when you respond that way, it makes me feel this way. Is there a way that you can approach it differently? I think specifically in a relationship, it's okay to say those things because you want, or at least we want to be able to, like, ask your partner for what you need. Obviously, in a work setting, don't ever fucking tell me to be soft. Like, you're not going to say that to a man. It's disrespectful. But I think to say to your wife or your fiance, like, the way you're responding is not comfortable for me. Is there a way that you can still feel heard while being honest? I think it's totally fine. Like, I would want Tyler to be able to say that to me, and, like, I would definitely say that to Tyler. Like, the way you're responding isn't feeling great. Could you...
If, like, Tyler was telling you something, like, I'm really excited for this, and you were like, that sounds dumb.
Yeah.
And he said, could you be a little softer? That wouldn't be...
I would be glad that he said something. Like, if he told me something really exciting and I didn't respond in a way that felt comfortable for him, and he said to me, like, hey, is there any way you could be a little softer? I could say, like, I'm really sorry that I wasn't responding the way you expected me to. I do have some questions that I definitely want to work through, but I apologize that, like, I maybe marred some of your excitement or wasn't meeting you where you were. Like, that is frustrating. And I could see that as a partner being like, you kind of took this excitement away. Like, yes, all these questions are valid, but, like, there's a time and a place. we can be excited and then move on to the question phase. And I also think sometimes when you pepper people with questions or like with an intensity that they're not used to, they're not giving you the right answers because they're kind of frazzled.
But like, this is who he's asked to marry him.
Totally. That's the other thing. You have to know who your partner is.
Right.
Like, if this is just who she is.
But like, if you were saying something to Tyler, like that you were really stressed about something, and he was like, well, like if he had like a really lame response to it, would you be like, be a man?
If Tyler didn't respond the way I wanted him to?
Like if he responded in like a wussy way.
Oh, like I'm stressed about something and he's not like manning up.
Mm-hmm.
To air quote. I don't think I'd say like I need you to man up, but I would definitely say like, if it didn't comfort me or like it wasn't giving me what I needed in that moment, I would feel comfortable saying like, hey, like I totally understand you have your own concerns about this, but I'm just looking for you to kind of problem solve here.
There's only room for one wuss in this relationship.
And I think you have to like know your partner. Like it's like a seesaw. At least in our partnership, like if I see Tyler going low, just like Michelle Obama said, I go high.
Right.
And vice versa.
You can't always be the wuss or the man.
We can't, yeah, and I think we are all...
Sometimes us ladies have to be a man.
100%, and I think we're all evolved enough in 2024. Like, there are instances where, like, I need my husband to man up, and there are instances where my husband needs me to man up.
But do you say, in those instances, if he's not manning up, do you say to him...
I'm trying to think of, like, an instance where, like, I've been, like, you're not manning up. There's definitely been times that I've said, like, but I've prefaced a conversation. Like, I've never had to tell him to do it in the past, but I've had to be like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm about to have a psychotic break. I need you to just steady the ship.
Totally.
Because I can't.
But you have to preface with that.
I don't know if I have to, but I have. Like, I am very, like, aware enough to be like, I'm losing it. We're losing it.
Right.
Now, it's not a secret. Like, he's like, yeah, I fucking know. Like, I can see. But,
I can
like,
tell.
I can tell. But, like, I would 100%, like, that wouldn't upset me if I were Lindsay and Carl. Like, if Tyler came to me, now, obviously, I don't know jack shit about the rest of the relationship, but that specific story, I don't see where the fire is. Like, if Tyler came to me and was like, you kind of ruined this for me, and, like, I need you to be softer, I would be like, I'm really sorry.
Over and over and over again. If Tyler were like, I'm going to look at doing a career change, and he's like, I don't love my job, hypothetically speaking, I want to go for a career change, you're like, that's fine. He quits his job. You're supporting you guys for the time being. And he, like, you're, like, really trying to get pregnant, about to be pregnant, and you're like, okay, so what's the plan for, like, you getting a job? What's your plan?
What's your plan?
And every, like, you know, couple weeks, it's a new idea, and every single one sucks more than the last.
But I think...
Like, he's like, you know what I was thinking? I really love reading.
I'm going to be a reader.
And so I was thinking about, like, starting a blog where I read books and review them. And you're like, wow.
That sounds like a hobby.
Okay, so for your first one, you're like, his first bad idea, you're like, that does sound like something that I'm here to support. I don't know if that could, like, totally support a family.
But sounds enjoyable.
Sure, so you're nice on round one.
Yep.
Round two, he's like, yeah, you're right. I probably wouldn't be able to support a family on that. But I've always been really good with training. I was really great at training our dog. And so I'm thinking about starting a dog training business. And you're like, a dog training business? Wow. Like, on time 5, you're like, get a fucking job.
Totally, but again, I also think, like, and I don't know if this is because, like, of the nature of their relationship or any of that, but I think some of this could have been solved with really direct communication. Like, are you ready to get married and start a family? Because your life is not mirroring that. Like, you don't sound like a man who's ready to become a father if you want to open a non-alcoholic sports bar.
Correct.
So, like, maybe taking it back to basics. Like, did I miss something? Like, are you not as ready as I thought you were? Are we in different places? Like, what are your goals? Like, are you really trying? Like, I want you to be happy. I love you. Do you want to, like, chase down these dreams? If yes, that's great. Do we need to delay a family for a year, 6 months? Like, where can we meet in the middle? Obviously, it's like it's a balancing act. Like, you don't want to just trudge forward on a plan if two people are not committed to the plan.
Right. And also, like, she wasn't saying, like, be a man up, get a job. She was just like, I think probably on idea number 17, she was like,
get fucked.
What's going on? Like, you need to get a job. Like, I don't know if that's just, like, go back to the corporate world or what, but, like...
But I think Carl then, don't know Carl, but Carl's clearly going through something.
Clearly.
Like, I don't know what this is.
Loserdom.
But, like, you're going through something because, like, you don't have a desire to work. You're not really flushing out these plans. Like, those are all symptoms of a bigger issue, and, like, just pecking away at the, like, immediate responses of her and the immediate ideas isn't fixing it. If he keeps coming back to the same iteration, like a different iteration of the same stupid fucking plan, where's the fire?
Right.
So, like, in my own relationship, would it be a problem if Tyler said that to me? No. But if Tyler...
You wouldn't be offended?
If he told me to be soft? No, I don't think I would.
I think you would.
I don't think I would. I'm also not very intense, so it doesn't seem like something that would land. I think you would be offended.
I think I would be offended if, depending on the language, like, if it was like, can you be a little softer? I'd be like, no.
Like, I feel like if Mike was like, can you be a little softer? You'd be like, you're insane.
I'm more likely to respond well if it's, can you say that in another way?
But to me, that feels like semantics. Like, yes, I understand what you're saying, but, like, sometimes you don't, like, we as humans don't say things the right way, and that has the same goal.
No, it doesn't necessarily have the same goal. And being able to communicate, like, how you want to hear it so that you can get to the same place.
Totally. But I'm saying, like, can you be a little softer? Can you say it a different way? Like, they're both getting to the root of, like, I am not receiving.
No, because can you say it another way is, if he said that to me, I'd be like, okay, like, rethink what I said and say it a different way, versus can you be a little softer is implying that you're not being sympathetic, you're not listening, like, it implies a lot of other things.
But I think that's how someone can receive it. Like, if he feels like your response is not feeling like you're listening or you're sympathizing, both things can be true. You can intend to do it.
It's just like, there is something about, like, being a woman and, like, that, like, assumption that women are supposed to be, like, gentle and, like, it's like, I was leaving Costco the other day.
Yeah.
Actually, I was walking into Costco. I show, you know, my card, like, yeah, I'm a member, whatever. Yeah. The guy looks at it, and he's like, can't let you in without a smile.
Well, that's fucking creepy.
And I was like, oh my God, get the fuck away from me. Why should I smile at you? Like, I didn't even look at him because I was, like, looking in my bag. I found my card. I showed it to him while I was still looking in my bag for my keys.
So creepy.
I can't let you in without a smile? So I think it's, like, part of the bigger, like, part of being a woman is, like, and now I have to be softer.
I agree. I just don't feel that, because I get incensed by that shit in the real world. I don't feel that way, though, in my marriage. Like, I'm not, like, it makes me sound like we're so evolved, but I don't think of us as, like, gender roles, so I'm not, like, and my husband and I also...
No, I agree.
Like, my husband and I have, like, very non-stereotypical gender roles. Like, he does a lot of the cooking in our house because I don't want to kill us. Like, I don't feel like I have to, like, behold my, like, female end of the bargain. So, like, if he's telling me to be soft, I might as... it's just as likely that I would say that to him. Like, I've definitely said that to him before. Like, sometimes I need him to, like, pull back the reins. Like, sometimes he's trying to, like, gas me up and, like, tell me not to be dramatic. And sometimes I'm like, I want to be fucking dramatic. And I'm like, can you just, like, empathize with me for a minute? Like, I need you to be softer.
Yeah, you can say that to a man.
But I'm saying, him saying it to me doesn't feel like a man saying it to a woman.
Oh.
Like, I'm not, like, feeling like I need to defend being a woman in our marriage, if that makes sense.
Well, the dilemma was, is that offensive? Is it not? If you're a man and your partner says to you, be a man. If you're a woman and your partner says to you, I need you to be softer. How does that make you feel?
Short answer, I say no. What do you say?
I say yes. Anyway, so that was my dilemma.
It's a good one. I don't find it offensive.
Okay. Just
But
throwing it
I
out
want
there.
everyone to know that I've never watched the show. So, like, any other external factors not being factored into this.
Well, please, when you listen, let us know.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you have anything else to share with me?
No, sadly. This is all I've got.
Back to the real world?
Ugh, yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Alrighty, well, I'll call you later.
Good, love you.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.